Chapter 3 of Out of My Heart. Firefly catching and releasing must be exhausting because Penny snuggled into Mom's lap and fell asleep long before Mom finished her glass of lemonade. Butterscotch snoozed by my feet. I hyped myself up. Okay, now is the time to talk about camp. What a perfect evening, Mom said, twirling one of Penny's curls. Her hair is crazy curly like mine. Above the glow of the lightning bugs, the first stars were beginning to speckle the sky. I nodded in agreement. Glad school's out? I tilted my head just a little. She knew how school was for me. I like most of my teachers and classes, and I love being a part of all that whirling turmoil most of the time. But even though I have an aide who helps me with things like taking notes and eating lunch, school can be a bit much. Not many kids pay attention to the girl trying to get through the halls in her electric wheelchair. They rush past me, their backpacks sometimes bumping right into me as they call out to friends, check their phones, and hurry through the crowds. It's almost like they don't even see me. It's strange. So many kids surround me, and yet I'm usually all alone. That's why I love being at Mrs. V's. She always sees me, but it's also kind of why I want to go to camp. I bet if I went to a camp with kids like me, well, I wonder how different that would feel. Every single day since I was born, somebody has fed me and bathed me and read to me and helped me through every single detail of my life. So lately, I started wondering, when do I get to do things for myself? Will I ever be a person who runs her own life? I mean, I know I'll always need some kind of help, but when do I get to be me? So that's what I'm thinking. That maybe at a camp, especially if it's one that specializes in kids like me, I can just be Melody Brooks for a few days. Whoa, that would be amazing. Plus, if Molly and Claire and Rose can go to camp, then why can't I? I might need extra help, but I sure don't need fins. Duh. I was all set to launch my plan. I'd search for just the right place for me. I spent several afternoons digging through camping websites and reading those brochures Mr. Francisco helped me order. Trouble was, most of the camps that I thought looked ideal for me and were within driving distance, but because let's be honest, there is no way Mom and Dad would let me go on a plane alone. We're no longer accepting applications, except for this one called Camp Green Glades. I've read the brochure and checked the website something like 73 times now. Yeah, I'm a stalker. In every picture, the kids in wheelchairs and on crutches or walkers are constantly cheesing. Can they all really be that happy? But somehow I felt good about this camp. I glanced over at Mom for sure she wasn't expecting this. I took my time and typed out, I want to go to camp. I hit the exclamation mark point several times. I put Elvira's speaker on its loudest level. Uh, camp? She asked, gulping down the rest of her lemonade. I nodded several times. Yes, camp. I found it at the library. You did? Camp? She asked again, as if I'd asked to go to the moon. But, honey, it's probably too late to apply now. It's already the middle of June. I already checked. They have a few openings. Mom raised an eyebrow. V, was this your idea? Mrs. V shook her head, her own eyebrows raised. Camp? Whoa, this is a surprise, and nope, I had no idea she was looking into this. So can I go? I tapped, wondering if Ollie's raised eyebrows were a good thing or not. Show me the website, Mom said, still exchanging glances with Mrs. V. But she wanted to see which wasn't a no yet. I'd never really done anything all on my own like this. It felt pretty awesome, and I was totally prepared. I had the camp's website link saved, so I just had to click on it, and there was Camp Green Glades, full of smiling-faced kids with a variety of what some people call special needs. Mom and Mrs. V poured over the website, crowding so close to me I was getting hot. They read every detail and read them again in case, I guess, they'd missed anything the first time. The camp was here in Ohio, not too far away, and most importantly, it had only 2 or 3 openings left. That meant we better hurry. They oohed over the pretty sunsets and the forest paths and the sparkling lake. They smiled at the kids on wheelchairs and on walkers sitting around campfires. There were campers on a boat and a swimming pool and even on horses. I looked at the images for like the 74th time. I still could hardly believe such a place could exist for me. Not one person looked scared or abandoned. But I guess nobody takes pictures of kids falling off a cliff or drowning in the lake and then slaps that on their website. And hello, were my mom and Mrs. V trying to drive me crazy? Because now they were reading it out loud. Yeah, the Green Glades Therapeutic Recreational Camp has been a support for campers with special needs and their family for 25 years. Mrs. V read to my mother. 25 years, my mother mused. Special needs, I was thinking. I don't like that term. It sounds so vague. It's like people without special needs decided that if they made the term vague enough, it wouldn't hurt anybody's feelings. When you're the person the term's used for, it makes you feel less than yourself. It makes me feel less than myself. Yeah, I'm special. And yes, I have needs, but don't make that my label. I've seen by zillions I've been seen by zillions of doctors and therapists and specialists, so many I can't even count. My parents do a great job of making sure I get the best medical and therapeutic care possible. But those doctors sometimes mess up too. Like they'll say I suffer from or I'm afflicted with cerebral palsy. Spoiler alert, I'm not suffering from anything, and just so you know, CP is not a disease. It's not contagious. Even if I sneeze on you, for real, my body simply doesn't work like the most of the people I know. And cerebral palsy is a name that doctors call my condition. It is what it is, what it is. And P.S. The mental part of my brain kicks butt. By the end of sixth grade, we were supposed to know decimals to the hundredths place. But I can do well past the thousands, although I have no idea why anybody would ever have to know that in real life. I can estimate the cost of our grocery bill, including the tax, before we even get to the cash register. And if I ever get to go to Europe, I can figure out the exchange rate of euros to dollars in my head, as well as share historical details about each city we visit. Thanks to Mrs. V, I've studied French and a few words of basic German. I can't pronounce the words, obviously, but I can read them or identify them when I hear them. If, for example, a couple in the grocery store are speaking French, I can recognize part of their conversation, or if the movie I'm watching was originally filmed in German, I can figure out quite a bit, especially if it has subtitles. I have secret powers. I'm all set. For now, though, I just wanted to go to Camp Green Glades. So can I go? I tapped again. It took me a minute to do this. Tapping out words is harder for me than you might think, especially when I'm excited about something. My right thumb, which I depend on most of the time, sometimes gets the wiggles. Mom told me to hold on. They were still reading. Then she said to Mrs. V, "Well, it's surprisingly affordable. There are 4 girls per cabin, each with their own individual counselor. That seems like a good idea. Safe, you know?" If I could have rolled my eyes right then, I would have. Mrs. V nodded emphatically, then added, sounding all excited, "There's boating, hiking, swimming, and nightly campfires." She stopped and grinned at me. Optional activities seem to include some kind of, zip lining? Mom looked at me. "They can't be serious. That's insanely dangerous." Dangerous? I've never in my life been given a chance to even think about doing something even a little bit dangerous. I gotta go to this camp. Oh, I'm sure they have safety protocols that are NASA worthy, Mrs. V said calmly. Then she was back to excited. And oh, Melody, get this. Horseback riding. Do they think I haven't looked at the website a million times? And okay, truth, the horseback riding part has me a little nervous. Like, how is that going to work? I can't even sit in my chair without straps. But these folks have been doing this for like 25 years, right? They must have figured it out by now. So I tapped out again. Can I go? Can I go? I looked at Mom and did my best to conjure up the face Penny used earlier to get Mrs. V in on the firefly hunt. Mom continued to ignore me, but I was cool. Because if they were all excited, then chances were, "Oh, it's only two hours away," my mother practically shouted, as if that had been the deal breaker. Finally, she turned to me. "Well, if we can fill out the application in a hurry, let's at least try." Okay, I was super pumped. My legs did their kickety-kicking, and my arms looked like I was conducting a million-piece orchestra. While I tried to calm down, Mrs. V tabbed through the camp website. "I used to do a bit of riding when I was your age," she told me. "Horses are incredibly gentle and understanding, and it says the ones that they use at this camp are specifically trained for working with all kinds of kinds." Mom added. "All those cowboy movies you and your dad watch, Melody, the horses always seem to be your favorite part." I rocked in my chair a little bit. Thinking about me and a horse in a saddle? Yes, I love those cowboy movies. But in none of those movies were there kids like me. I had never even dared to think about me riding a horse. It had never crossed my mind until I discovered Camp Green Glades. "How do I even get on the horse?" I tapped, and Elvira asked loud. "From what I can tell from these pictures, they got some sort of pulley system to get you up on the horse and back down. Plus, you ride with the counselor." I'm trying to imagine this, and I think I'm feeling sorry for the horse.